delighted to be here, and hi to everyone. So I would say that one thing that has worked for me is the fact that I have always been able to pursue the things that I'm passionate about. So first off, I studied psychology. I bumped into psychology. I was going to do medicine.
Okay.
Yes, I was going to do vet medicine. Then I just, my JAM scores at the time weren't enough to get me into the medical department.
Okay.
So I had to settle for something else. And psychology was just like, okay, let me just go for this. But now I'm very glad I did psychology because it is totally aligned with my purpose and my passion.
Wow.
So I studied psychology. I knew that I had a thing to get people to, share their problems with me. I love to listen. I like to prefer solutions. However, I also knew I was very passionate about acting, about singing. I've always been a choir girl. About getting on TV, about being seen. So I would say, because I had always been able to find expression, even after other things kept coming and adding up, it was kind of easier for me to be able to find a way to make sure everything had a place. So in the different seasons of my life, I've had the different interests that I have a certain priority. And I tell people, when you become a mother and you happen to be someone who is passionate and trying to find expression with your giftings and your talents, don't undermine help. It's important to get help, even if you do not do anything. I know sometimes you like to be superwoman, every woman.
Yeah.
But reality is, we all need help. For our mental health, you need help. I have been privileged, in quote, to be able to have people around me, beginning with my parents and now my husband, who allow me express and be me. And because of that, like I said, somehow when you have the will, there would always be a way to be able to create a balance. That's one thing I've realized. I never say, oh, because of this. So when it comes to, for example, my kids, and it comes to, that I would say family now, and it comes to my career, again, it comes back to what is priority in the different seasons of your life.
Different seasons.
Seasons of your life.
Seasons, that's very
I would give you an
important.
example. I'm an actor. I have been on set this year. But when I was coming into 2023, I knew acting was not going to be a major priority for me. Because in reality, there is no way you'll be doing all on the same level at the same time. Humanly speaking, that's not possible. So somehow, from my core, I'm also able to tell that, okay, this is the season to focus on this one. Is the season to focus on.
So that's very important. Knowing what to focus on at what point in time.
That's right. Because truly, again, it is not possible to give everything the same measure
Level of attention
per time. Yes. So, again, I know that this year my focus is the Pathfinder, because that's what I am called as a counselor. I help people find their path through life. That's what I do. Now, the convenience that comes with that is I counsel virtually a number of times. So I take my bookings online, I get to counsel people. I run my shows, I go do my recording, I go read the news. I am not consistently every day fully booked. So because I also understand that I am multi-talented and I'm given to certain interests, it's a lot more convenient for me to freelance. So there were seasons in my life where I had a full-time job. There were seasons in my life when I was on radio for 6 days.
I was going to come to that.
Yes. And there were seasons like that where it was 9 to 5. I worked as a banker before, So there were those seasons. So again, I go back to the fact or the point where it is very important that you understand the seasons of your life and you're able to prioritize using those seasons. So now I know I'm at a place where the best way to be able to share myself, in quote, is to ensure that I freelance. So it gives me time. At the end of the day, kids, we're on holiday, they're back at school, but we have time to bond when we're going to bed at night. And of course, I'm mother. They have their room, but they're always in mine. So during those periods, we're talking, they will demand that we watch a movie together or we do something together and we have conversations. They're asking the questions. So there's always a time. This is not to say it's all perfect. No, please, mother, dear woman, no.
Okay. Like you said, there was a time in your life
Yes.
when you didn't have the amount of time you have on your hands now, when you worked 9 to 5. Now, I'm sure that there are women who are in that very position right now. Okay? But they also have, while doing this job, while trying to eke out a living, they also have a passion that they would love to pursue. So, what would be your advice to this group of women?
So I would say, follow your passion is a valid saying, and I would say follow your passion. However, create a plan. There is the importance of balance. I also understand that when you have a family and you're making a financial contribution to the family, being a banker, I know that's the situation of a number of bankers. It's not easy to just up and go. Reality is that you would have to somehow strike that balance. Because if you were thinking of doing other things, I understand that sometimes the passion might not even be the job that you're doing.
And the passion might not pay the bills.
And the passion might not pay the bills for the moment. I believe that passion can get to pay the bills. Yes. Because your giftings will bring you before kings. You've been given all that pertains to life and godliness. Somehow everything that your gifting is a solution to the world. And if it is value you're bringing, people will be willing to put their funds where they receive value from.
Yes, Mbasiti Jesse, media personality, counselor, and I love this one very much. Mother, entrepreneur, and actor. I am sure you heard that at the same time I did. What about a woman out there who has a passion, who probably, you're an entrepreneur, who has a business idea, who has so much, but they are still all in her head, and she does not even know where or how to start, going about this whole thing. So what would be your advice to that kind of woman right now listening to you?
First off, bring out your pen and your paper. Right. There's something that making the vision plain does to you. If it's just in your head, most likely it will never come to pass. But the moment you begin to put pen to paper, it begins to take form. And the thing is, you've got to be determined. I know sometimes we have, especially as mothers, and like I said, especially when you do not begin early. Maybe it is now, you're married, the children are all over the place. That's when you're beginning to truly see that you're truly passionate about, or whether it is fashion or beauty or tech or whatever, and you're wondering, how are you going to strike that balance? One step at a time. First, put pen to paper, write the vision down, and begin to see where you can begin to take steps. And this is something I'll say even for the people who have a job already. There is some time in your life or in the course of the day where you can get a break. If you truly love it and you're truly passionate about it, you can create time for it and begin that journey. If you keep pushing it away, it will never happen. So you also have to add determination to this.
Okay.
So don't just write it and keep it there and sit there. Be determined to ensure that this happens. And if you love yourself enough and you understand that you were made for something, like I said, your gifting is a solution to the world. If you have these certain things in mind, then you'll be able to begin to find your path. Also, sorry, let me just say this quickly. Something that's also very important is being in the right circle. Find the right circle.
Finding the right circle.
Yes, if you stay with people who are just, sitting and sulking over what they cannot achieve, that is how you would remain. But begin to stretch out. Seek for help. Cry for help. Like, be determined to know, okay, I do not want to be here. I want to be there. There is definitely somebody you're looking that's kind of you admire or you idolize, that or reminds you or gives you the picture of where you want to be. Sometimes that's how the passion is triggered. Is that, I admire what this person is doing. I think I can do this. Somehow I desire that would be me. There is just something that would, give you that inclination or that interest. So begin to see how you connect. Follow. It's as little as all of us do social media now. It's WhatsApp or on Facebook, even if it's Facebook or Instagram. In some cases, is as in quote little as much or as much as following certain people and just watching what they do. It's what you feed yourself. It's tuning into the right channels. It's just seeing those things, and as you begin to move from where you are into the circle you want to be in your mind, you will see that the world, the universe, God begins to cause things to align. All of a sudden, you're connecting with people who think like you. Life is just happening. It's just evolving. Your mind is evolving, and so is your environment and everything that concerns you.
Okay, I like that part where you talked about not staying with people that are sulking and all that. And that I've heard a lot of women say, I wanted to do this. I at this point in my life, I had expected to have been able to achieve this, but I got married, I had children, and then is having a family, marriage and children supposed to be a limitation for a woman to be able to express herself and live her dreams?
Far from it. Far from it. But truth, we have to go back to the foundations. And perhaps this will be for the people who are yet to be married. It's important that you self-discover before you get into that institution. Because most times the clash would come in a situation where you're in the marriage institution, then you begin to self-discover. And then you probably have a partner who is saying, no, I never thought I'll marry an actor. All of a sudden now you're passionate about acting. No, I don't want that kind of exposure. So the earlier you begin to ask this self-purpose questions, follow your passion, your desires. If you're at that place, and begin to do that for your kids and allow them find expression. The earlier we begin to do that, the better it is for us. I remember that before I got married, it was one of the conversations we had. And at that time, I don't even think I'd done even one movie. And I'm like, I know I'm going to end up being an actor. Are you ready? And he's like, trust me, I'll give you all the support. I'm on YouTube now. I've got a YouTube channel because that's where I put my content. And my husband, I also do my show on Instagram, on blah, 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 media generally, the Pathfinder show. And my husband literally bought me all my studio equipment.
Wow.
Yes. So that's what happened.
That's massive support and encouragement.
Yes, I totally agree. And guess what? It is possible that you listening, your husband is like that, but you've not really given him anything to see to want to support yet. So perhaps when you begin to find you and bring it to light, just have those conversations. I seem to be interested. Oh, this seems... You would totally see that this man was just waiting.
Okay, so Mbasiti, before we go, is age a limitation to pursuing your dreams?
Not a limitation. People begun stuff at 60, 70. Age can never be a limitation. I know that for me, I'll speak for myself, and of course it's not too old, but yet it's not too young either. I started this journey, but I feel like I sat into being me at 30. That's how it feels for me. Like I'm like, oh, now it's almost like you've come to the fullness of, I entered another phase of this journey. Exactly. But I'd been experimenting all along with being a younger person. So long as your soul, you still have a soul in that body, your soul doesn't age, and all that God has given you is within that soul. So put it to work.
There's no limitation, so says Mbasiti Jessie, media personality, counselor, mother, entrepreneur, actor. Thank you once again, Mbasiti Jessie, for being on Every Woman Today.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure that a lot of women out there are having a rethink now, and like you said, putting their visions, their dreams, their ideas on paper.
Thank you.
Thank you once again.